Hello everyone, today we are going to learn Chapter 10 Grassroots Democracy Part 1 Governance from your social science textbook. In this video, I'll be covering each and every line from the chapter so you don't miss anything important. Make sure to keep your notebook and pen ready and take notes while watching. This will help you remember the concepts better. I'll explain the concepts clearly and you can pause or rewind any time to write things down. So, let's begin. The chapter starts off with a quote from Mahabharata. So, Rajanam Dharma Goptaram Dharmo Rakshadi Rakshida. The ruler protects Dharma and Dharma protects those who protect it. A ruler, like a king or leader, must do what is right and fair. This is called Dharma. Doing your duty and being good. When the ruler protects Dharma, then Dharma protects the ruler and the people. If you do the right thing and protect goodness, it will protect you back. Next is a quote from Rigoberta Menchú Tum. Rigoberta Menchú Tum is a human rights activist from Guatemala, a country in Central America. She became famous for fighting for the rights of poor and for the people who were treated unfairly or ignored. In 1992, she won the Nobel Peace Prize for her work. She is known all over the world for standing up for human rights and helping others. There is no peace without justice. That is, we can't have peace if people are treated unfairly. No justice without equality. Justice means treating everyone fairly, and that's not possible if people aren't treated as equals. No equality without development. To treat everyone equally, everyone must have the chance to grow, like having good schools, jobs, and healthcare. No democracy without respect to the identity and dignity of cultures and peoples. A real democracy means respecting everyone's background, culture, and self-respect. The big questions are, what is the meaning of governance? Why do we need a government? What is the meaning of democracy? Why is it important? So, we will learn the answers of these questions in this chapter. Introduction. Human beings have been living in communities for a long time. When a large number of people live together, there can be disagreements and disorder, and rules become necessary to maintain order and harmony in the society. So, people have always lived together in groups called communities. When many people live close, sometimes they disagree or fight. To keep things peaceful and organized, rules are needed. These rules help everyone live together fairly and safely. There are probably some simple rules at home that you are expected to follow. The school where you study has rules too. Some for students, others for teachers. In higher classes, students appearing for examinations must follow certain rules. Drivers on the road are expected to obey traffic rules. People employed in all kinds of jobs also need to follow the rules set by their employer, while the employers must also follow rules which they have committed to their employees. So, we follow rules everywhere in our homes, schools, and outside too. At home, there are simple rules like helping with chores and finishing your homework before watching TV, etc. Schools have rules for students and teachers to create a good learning environment. When students take exams, they must follow special rules to make sure the exams are fair. On the roads, drivers obey traffic rules to keep everyone safe. At work, employees must follow the rules set by their employers. Employees are the people who work for the employers, and employers are people or companies who give jobs to others. So employers set rules like coming on time or doing their task properly. And employers also have rules like treating their workers fairly, paying them on time, and providing a safe place to work. This way, both employers and employees respect each other and work smoothly. What would happen if no one followed those rules? A simple answer is that society would not be able to function. But what if no one followed the rules? There would be a lot of confusion and problems. People might argue and things would become unsafe. Without rules, it would be very hard for society to work smoothly. Describe the two pictures given in figure 10.1 on page 151. What differences do you see between them? In figure 10.1 first picture, cars and bikes are following traffic rules, people are walking on the footpath, and the road looks organized and safe. In the second picture, people are not following traffic rules. Vehicles are moving chaotically, and some are crossing red lights, and there are accidents and confusion. The road looks crowded and unsafe. How do you connect this with our discussion on rules? These pictures show why rules are important. When people follow rules like traffic signals, everything works smoothly and safely. But when the rules are ignored, it leads to chaos and accidents and danger for everyone. What are some of the rules in your school? Who made them? So, what are the school rules we follow? Being on time, wearing school uniform, not running in the hallways, listening to teachers, and respecting classmates. Who made these rules? These rules were made by school principal and teachers. Who makes the rules and why? How are they made? These are some of the questions we will explore in this chapter. The process of taking decisions, organizing the society's life with different sets of rules, and ensuring that they are followed is called governance. The group of individuals or the system that makes the rules and ensures that they are followed is called a government. Some of the more important rules are called laws. So in this chapter, we will learn about who makes the rules, why rules are made, and how rules are made. The people or group that make these rules and make sure that these rules are followed are called government. And the process of deciding on rules, organizing society, and making sure everyone follows them is called governance. Some of the most important rules are called laws. This does not mean that rules and laws are set once and for all. Just as you might discuss a particular rule at home with your parents or as a student body might ask the school or university management to change a rule, citizens also have a say in the laws and rules governing the society. We will see how this takes place. So, rules and laws are not fixed forever. Just like you can talk with your parents to change a rule at home, or students can ask their school to change a rule, people in a country can also help by sharing their opinions in making or changing laws. In this chapter, we will learn how this happens. Can you identify the categories of public service or other activities that are represented in the 10 pictures in figure 10.2 on page 152? So, we need to identify the categories of public service in these pictures in figure 10.2. In the first picture, roads are being made. Building roads comes under the category of infrastructure development. In the second picture, we see a train. This comes under the category public transportation. Here we see soldiers guarding our country. This is part of the National Security and Defense Services. Here, doctor is checking patients. This comes under the category healthcare services. Here, rescue workers are helping in a disaster. This comes under the category disaster relief and emergency services. Here we see a traffic police on duty. This is regulatory and law enforcement services. Next is the picture of Supreme Court of India. It represents the Judiciary. Here, teacher is taking class. This comes under the category education. Here we see a postman on duty. This is postal services and communication. Here, people are availing bank services. This comes under the category banking and financial services. What role do you think the government plays in each of these activities? So, what roles does the government play here? The government builds and maintains roads for safe travel. It runs and manages trains and other public transport for people to move easily. The government supports the army to protect our country and keep us safe. It provides healthcare services. It organizes disaster relief teams. Government employs traffic police to keep roads safe. The government appoints judges, ensures courts function, and makes sure justice is given to everyone fairly. Government runs schools and hires teachers to educate children. The government operates the postal systems to send letters and packages. It makes sure that banks help people and keep their money safe. Can you think of other aspects of your daily life where the government plays an important role? So what else does government do for us? It provides clean water and electricity. It runs public parks and libraries. It ensures our safety through police and fire services. It protects our environment and wildlife. It organizes sports and cultural events. So, government plays an important role in our life. 3 organs of government. So, the government is divided into 3 important parts or groups. All over the world, digital technologies have been transforming the way societies function. In India, till about 30 years ago, people who wanted to transfer money to a distant relative would have to queue up at the post office to send a money order after filling up a form. Or if they had to send a payment to some business, they would queue up at their bank to obtain a demand draft, which would then have to be sent by post. You have probably never heard these terms money order or demand draft because today we have digital means of sending across money instantly. So all around the world, new digital technologies are changing how people live and work. In India, about 30 years ago, if someone wanted to send money to a relative far away, they had to stand in a long line at the post office. They also had to fill out a form to send money using a form called money order. Or if they wanted to pay a business like a shop or a company, they had to go to the bank, wait in line and get a special form called demand draft. After that, they would send this paper to business by post. You might not have heard this because today we are using phones or computers to send money instantly without waiting in lines or sending papers by post. However, this has also created a new class of criminals who, without even leaving their desks, find digital ways of stealing people's money. This has led many governments to pass new laws in order to fight such criminal activities called cybercrime. Some of those criminals who believe in robbing innocent people of their hard-earned money instead of using their skills to contribute to the society have been arrested and convicted in court. They are usually fined as well as jailed for some years. So, with digital technology, it's easy to send money quickly. But this has also created a new group of criminals who steal money using computers without even leaving their desks. These crimes are called cybercrime, and many governments are making new rules to stop these crimes. Some of these criminals who choose to steal money instead of helping others have been caught and punished by the court. They often have to pay fines or go to jail for a few years. Through this example, we can see how the three branches or organs of a government work together. So this example shows how the three parts of the government work together. The legislature is the organ that makes new laws or legislates. Sometimes it also updates or removes existing laws. This is done by an assembly of representatives of the people. We will soon see how the Indian system works. So, the legislature is the part of the government that makes new laws. Legislate means to make or create laws. It can also change or remove old laws. This is done by a group of people chosen by the citizens to represent them. Soon we will learn how this works in India. The executive is the organ that implements or executes the laws. This includes the head of state, who may be a president, a prime minister, or a chief minister, the ministers, and any agency responsible for enforcing law and order. In our example, that agency is the cyber police. So, the second part of the government is called the executive, which implements or executes. Execute means to carry out or put into action. It executes the laws. This means they make sure the laws are followed. The executive includes important leaders like the president, prime minister, or chief minister, as well as ministers and groups that keep law and order. In our example about cybercrime, the cyber police are part of the executive because they carry out the law by catching criminals who steal money using computers. The judiciary is the system of courts which decides whether someone has broken the law and, if so, what course of action should be taken, including punishment if necessary. Sometimes it also examines whether a decision taken by the executive is right or whether a law passed by the legislature is well conceived and fair to all. The third part, judiciary, is the system of courts. They decide if someone has broken the law and what should happen next, like giving punishment if needed. Sometimes the judiciary checks whether the decision made by the executive, that is the government leaders, is correct or not. It also looks at laws made by the legislature to see if they are fair and good for everyone. Explain how the three government organs are at work in the case of cyber criminals described above. How do they intervene? So, what are the three organs of government? Legislature, executive, and judiciary. Legislature makes new laws or changes or removes old laws. Executive implements the laws. Judiciary is the system of courts. In the case of cyber criminals, legislature create laws against cybercrime and decide what punishments should be given. Executive, including cyber police, carries out these laws. They investigate and catch the cyber criminals. Judiciary, that is a court, decides whether that cyber criminals are guilty. If they are, the courts decide the punishment like fines or jail time. In a good system of governance, these three organs must be kept separate, although they interact with each other and work together. This separation is called the separation of powers. Figure 10.3. It is intended to provide a system of checks and balances. This means that each organ of the government can check what the other is doing and restore balance if one organ acts beyond its expected role. In a good government, these three parts, that is legislature, executive and judiciary, are kept separate. This is called the separation of powers. Even though they are separate, they work together and check on each other to make sure no part becomes too powerful. The checks and balances system means that each part of the government watches what the others are doing. If one part tries to do more than it should or misuse its power, the other parts can stop it and keep everything fair and balanced. As you can see in this picture, the arrows between them symbolize mutual interaction, cooperation, and oversight. This interdependence ensures that no single organ becomes too powerful. Together, these three are the foundation of governance. As a class activity, can you imagine the sort of disorder we might witness if all three organs were under the control of the same group of people? Can you describe any such real-life situation you may have heard of? Imagine if the same group of people controlled all three parts of the government: the lawmakers, the law enforcers, and the judges. What kind of problems do you think might happen? There will be no freedom of speech. People may not be allowed to say what they think. Unfair laws. The group in power might make laws only to help themselves, not the people. No fair trials. Judges may always support the rulers, so people don't get justice. Corruption. Without anyone to stop them, the leaders might take bribes or misuse money. Fear and confusion. People may be scared to speak up or protest because there is no one to protect their rights. For real-life examples, in some countries, one leader or party has controlled everything for many years and people have less freedom or rights. Sometimes dictatorship happens where one person has all power and makes all decisions without listening to others. With this, we have concluded part 1 of this chapter. We will continue the balance chapter in our next video. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel. See you soon in our next video. Bye bye.